Hey guys, this is Eric Weingart with Weingart Racing. It's Saturday, so it's an update video day. So there's a lot in this. It's not ever just one topic, it's many topics, is what's happened during the week. I'll give you the biggest highlight first. Cams are starting to show up for the small block Ford Cam Challenge. We've got 3 here. So if you are not already or haven't already, if you donate to the small block Ford Cam Challenge, to do that, in the description of this video, there'll be a link where you can purchase a donation. That costs 20 bucks. Once all the cam cards are here, which they're supposed to be here by May 1st. So if you're an entry into the small block Ford Cam Challenge, your cam needs to be here by May 1st. On May 2nd, I'm going to drop all the cam cards into the folder that I'm giving to the people that donated so you can see everything that's there. I'll go ahead and tell you, since there's 3 here, they're different, way different. So if you're wanting to know what would 20 degrees of duration do, I could tell you that. We'll find out. It's weird. But anyway, that's one of the highlights. The next big thing that happened this week was on Thursday. I was on the dyno with the big block Chevy, mine, personal engine. It was going to go in the Camaro, and it did not go well. That'll probably be a video on Monday or Tuesday. It didn't go good. I'm going to tell you, it did not go well. So, yeah. Not a great day, but it has to happen, I guess. Anyway, that was the other thing, but here's a bunch of other stuff that's happening, and it's kind of exciting, I have to say. So here we go. I have a 540 big block Chevy that I use for dyno testing, and Bobby from NK Performance, I just happened to mention about it, and he said he had these intakes, and I am super excited because now I'm going to get to test these. So the intake I already have on it currently is the Edelbrock 2896, which is their Super Victor 2. It's a new one. Then Bobby sent this one first, this Profiler Sniper 2. And this is a really good intake. It's really popular, and obviously it's stock. And I'm going to get to test that. But then this one is, if you watched a few weeks back, this one was actually in that video that one of my customers had dynoed, but on a much larger engine. We're going to test this. This is the Hulk 23. It's from Ratco Racing Engines. Now, I've tested his Hulk. Sorry, it's not his Hulk 23. This is his Hulk big block Chevy manifold. I have tested his Hulk 23, which is the one for a small block Chevy, and it did not do well. I tested it several times. It just wasn't good. And probably the wrong combination, and maybe that'll find out with this, but we'll see. But I look forward to testing this. This should be interesting. It looks like it should make some good power. I'll get all the measurements and stuff and whatnot, but it's definitely taller, a lot taller. But we have 3 good manifolds to test it against. Like I said, the 2896, this Sniper 2, and I'm going to switch heads because currently the heads that are on there are the AFR 385s. I'm half tempted to put those on my 477 blower motor because I damaged the heads that I had that I used on them, which we'll find out on Monday. But the heads I'm going to switch to are the ProMax 317 heads, but I'm completely ported those, and I'll show you those in this video too, how far I've come along. So it'll be a really good test because we should make way more than what we're making now. Currently it makes 941. When the ProMax heads go back on it, it should make, I would imagine, probably in the 980, maybe 1,000 horsepower range. And then we could test these manifolds and see how well they do compared to each other. And I'll say, usually when we did the small block Chevy testing, the differences in power are pretty small when we tested manifolds, but the engine was only making 650 or so. I could tell you for certain on a big block Chevy, and now we're making 900 horsepower, the manifold differences are huge because we went from a BM 2000 to the 2896 and I gained like 35. So the differences go up as the power goes up on the engine. So should see a difference. But anyway, that's coming up later. Do I know when it's going to happen? No, because I still need to finish porting the ProMax heads. This is the next engine that's going to get done. If all goes well, hopefully this Thursday, because I've got it scheduled for Thursday, this will be on the dyno. This is the small block Ford dyno mule. This is 408 cubic inches. It's a 4030 bore, 4-inch stroke. It's a real nice piece. There's 2 cams we're going to test because we need to practice testing some camshafts, changing. So whenever the cam challenge comes, I will have more practice as of doing it on this. But this is about 10.6 to 1 compression ratio. These heads are like the ProMax Project X 205s. They're similar. Like the port design's the same, but these have 8mm valves. I redid the valve job. You can look back at the other video and see what it is. But they flow really well. Right now it's a trip flow camshaft in it, and this is what its specs are. Now, even though it's a hydraulic roller, there's solid roller lifters that are in there. So I'm running a hydraulic roller cam with solid roller lifters. I've lashed them at 8,000s. We're going to try that first. Then we're going to switch camshafts. Daniel Powell sent this camshaft. We're going to switch to that camshaft, and then we'll start making some intake manifold changes. So this is that JEGS single plane. This is what we're using for the baseline or whatnot. But then we've got this, and that's not the right number, I don't think at all. But this is a Super Victor that's in this box. 2924 is what it should be. Then a YN dual plane, and we'll be testing those. And that should all take place on Thursday, God willing. A couple of things I still have to get out of the way. Unfortunately, the hardware store only had like 6 of the short bolts for this adapter. So I've got to grind them down. That's why I'm in here, just to see. So I got to do that. I have to stick on the gaskets. I did find this out. So this is something stupid in case you're wondering. These are the intake studs for the intake manifold to get installed. I figured this out, and I bought 2 sets, which sucks. So I bought an extra set for the dyno mule. But if you have them in, you can't pull off the manifold without pulling out the distributor because it will hit. You have to slide it back, then up. So as cool as these are, I'm going to use them on this particular deal, but I'm not going to lock tie them in or nothing. But on a cam challenge, I'm just using the bolts because you can pull it out, pull the intake that way, and get it out of the way, which I'm just going to use these and loosely put them in so I can unscrew them by hand and take it out, because I'm going to have to do that for changing in the manifolds because, like I said, we're doing 2 other manifolds with this deal. But anyway, that's that. Let me show you some more stuff. Here are the new pistons for the 406 dyno mule. For those that are unfamiliar with it, I've been using a 406 small block Chevy that was my dyno mule forever. I mean, I think we had 270 something dyno pulls on it. Anyway, the block finally had some problems and I decided to let go. Instead of going back together with the flat top pistons that were in it before, I thought it's time to do something different. So I ordered these. Now these are a dome piston. This should yield me about 13.5 to 14 to 1, depending on which heads and how much compression. These are such nice pistons. So let me show you. This valve pocket's wide enough to run either a 40-60 valve spacing or a standard valve spacing head. So which is great. You can run either one. You see this little notch here? That's a nice deal too in case there's a dowel shift. Huge spark plug notch. It looks straight, but the angle will still fit in it. So which is great. But here's some other features on it. The ring pack. This top ring is 1 millimeter, the second ring's 1 millimeter, and the third ring, the oil ring's 2 millimeters. And dig this, that's the wrist pin. There's aluminum above it. Let me get it to focus right. So you don't have to run an in-rail spacer with a 6-inch rod. That's very, very nice. Also, if you notice, it's got lateral gas ports to help the air get behind the rings and make it seal better because it'll push the ring out so it seals. It's a really, really nice deal. Super happy to get these in. Can't wait to get the dyno mule back together. See if we can't crack 700. Bishop's Nova is making progress in pretty good amounts. I actually ordered the grill. It's actually sitting right there. And the reason why is because I ordered the SS one. I ordered this whole kit for the front. So it's got the buckets for the front. And then it's got the grill, which it's down there. And it looks just like that. I just don't want to pick it up. New deal there. Here's the problem. It said it was to fit a 76, but when you look at the box, it's for a 75 and it's for the Super Sport. It does not fit with the brackets because if you look, see this right here? That's supposed to go here. But the grill that came off of it has a little L piece. So it goes like this, and then there's an L that goes under between this, and that's what holds it in place. This does not. It doesn't have that L, so it's actually shorter. So its distance goes from here to here. So I have to make a little bracket to come off to bolt that too. Still have to figure out something with the center to hold that as well. The wires are ran for the lights. They do work. I've got them to work and everything else. But I don't have it all the way loomed up because there's still a few more things I need to get out of the way. But gonna get that, tidy up the wires, and that part's done. This week, Jamie came over and we decided we're gonna try to get the brakes to work, because once the brakes work, we can actually move this damn thing so I can get my other S10 in here, hook up the shift light. And I thought I was gonna bring in the Camaro to switch to put the blower motor in to go have some fun, but that ain't happening. Well, a couple things on the brake system. This is one of them. Put it all together and everything's looking fine. We go to put brake fluid in it, and it pissed all over. You know, brake fluid's a weird deal. Let me show you this. Brake fluid will peel off paint. See all that? It was leaking out this one fitting, and I'm going to show you what happened. Let me go over here. I ordered this fitting right here because this is what I needed. And my kit that I'd ordered from Jegs came with these, right? And I was one short. So I just ordered these from Earl's, not thinking anything about it, thinking, hell, they're all the same, right? Wrong. Put this dude on, got the flare, right? The double flare. Pissed the brake fluid all over the floor for 2 straight days. Kept wrapping it and doing stuff because gravity feeding down. Finally, these came in, and even though it's made in China, this has the correct flare on the bottom. So all I did was change it out, and now it's that part sealed up. So I was like, yeah, buddy, life's good. So as a note, in case you ever decide to do these, be careful. They're not the same, I guess, angle on the inside for all these. I thought they were. But that also happened. I got that all fixed, and I was feeling really good about myself. Went to pump up the brakes and started spraying fluid here. So I thought, well, shoot, I got leaks everywhere now. Nope, it did this. This was the fitting. It was right there. The fitting broke. There's the other half of it. Don't know how it happened, but it broke. And now a new one's in there. So some more stuff kind of holding me up. But I haven't had a lot of time to mess with it because I've been working on other stuff. So let me show you, this is what I've been grinding on all week. These are the BB3 Extra 327s. Now I told you last week's video about these heads, and I was going to do a video showing you how I port them, which I've been doing. So that's the reason why it's also taking a little bit longer to do, because I have to describe everything and stop what I'm doing instead of just grind away. I hope to have these finished by the end of the weekend. So this one's got the intake ports done, the chambers are done, got the exhaust ports. The other head just has to finish the chambers and the exhaust ports. But I hope to have that done this weekend, and I can put the whole video together and drop it at some point. But in between, I've been working on these heads. By the way, as I was recording this, the 4th cam now for the small block Ford cam challenge has showed up. So at least 4 of the cams are here. In between working on that Brodix 3 Extra head, I've been working on this. This is the Promax heads that are going to go on those that we're going to use for that Hulk manifold and profiler intake. Here's what they are. Got one port almost done. It's getting there, so I got to work the short side on this. But I haven't even started on the short ports or the other head. So anyway, really need to make some progress on this, because if I have to use the 385s or on the 540 for my 477, then these got to be done because they need to go in there. Regardless, these got to go in there anyway to test for the new manifolds, because I think this is going to beat the AFR 385s by a bunch. No doubt about that. Anyway, there's that. Let's go on to the last few things. I ordered these lifters this week, and they're for the small block Chevy cam challenge. These are a vertical, or not vertical, but a horizontal tie bar. So this way I don't have to pull off the manifold whenever I'm changing cams on the small block Chevy. So it'll just pop out of the way and just stay there. Perfect. I don't know that I'd recommend these for full-time use, but I think for this cam challenge, since most of the time we're under RPM, they're probably going to be fine. But usually I like pressure-fed oiling on the axles and stuff, but I don't think it's going to matter for this cam challenge, because for the most part, we'll be, 5,500 or 7,500, whatever that range it is for the most part. I won't be doing a whole lot of idle time. So, but anyway, they're there. I'm pretty happy with that. The small block Chevy cam challenge, I'm also going to put a link in the description too if you want to donate to that. That should take place in July. In case you don't know what's going on with that, that's a 421 small block Chevy. It'll be using the Summit block. Should be using the SCAT rotating assembly, assuming it gets to me. It'll have my own Brodix Dragon Slayer 40-60 spacing heads on, titanium valves. Really nice stuff there. It's going to have that Holley high ram, the new one for the small block Chevy. I'm going to port that. We're running fuel injection. We're going to run this on the 85. And the way that one's going to work is they'll have one of the runs will be NA. There, and then there'll be about, the second run will be 5 pounds or so of boost. And then the third run will be about 10 to 15 pounds of boost. And that'll be done from the Vortex supercharger. And you'll be scored that way. That's the plan. And that's probably going to take place in July, which brings up something else. So I'm trying my best before I do any of the announcements for that to have the engine together first before I even do any applications or people that want to apply to begin that challenge. before that's done, the engine needs to be together. I'm not doing like what I did with the Ford and currently doing with the Ford. Because right now for the Ford, still don't have the heads. The heads I ported, I sent them off to Chris Straub. They're still working on them. Don't have the lifters. If I had that, we could actually do the braking on the engine and have some kind of baseline so that we know everything's fine. Instead, it seems like we're going to end up rushing. I can already tell you. But I don't know when it's going to take place, a small block Ford cam challenge, but probably in May sometime because the cam's got to be in by May 1st. Hopefully, we'll have everything together and running by then. The Chevy, I want it running like June. That's the goal, June, running. So this way I can say, guys, you got to apply now. We'll see if we can't get it at the end of July, maybe early August, sometime in that range, maybe sooner. But then you're like, what about the big block Chevy one? Really going to wait on that one. Maybe we could push that to November. I don't know. That's too much going on. It's going to be very tough. I'm not giving up on that period. But worst case scenario, I was going to use the 565 from the Camaro and just do that. But unfortunately, when the engine went out on the dyno on Thursday, it kind of eliminates that plan. So anyway, that's all I got for now. So thanks for watching. I do not port cast iron heads. I'm no Superman. I did race Superboy. You guys take care.